So you must be really excited. We're looking forward to seeing Arab women say what. That's at Metro Cinema tomorrow night. And it's fascinating, Nisreen, because you punctuate the title of this film in a very specific way. Why is that?
Well, because they talked about everything under the sun, did not hold back. They just said everything as it is. They spoke their truth. And I found that in North America, we're not used to Arab women voicing
Hmm.
uh, opinions with this strength, with this honesty, with just, it is what it is.
And how did you get them to be that comfortable so that they would open themselves up like that?
So they're my friends. They're my friends. And actually, I was pitching NFB a different project. And I was talking to David Christensen, the executive producer. I was telling him what the conversations that I had with my friend the night before
Okay.
this function. So he just looked at me and said, "This is your project. You should do this." So that's how it all started. So I started talking to my friends. So yeah, there's this, film media. I'm not sure. And I'm like, I'm your friend to begin with. And it is my community because I'm Egyptian Canadian.
Hmm.
And what I promise you is I will give you a voice. I will not censor you. I'll present you as you are, as who you are. Just like we sit in our living rooms and have those conversations, that's what we're going to do here.
And I think the charm of the film is definitely in the fact that it seems like it's a very candid conversation. It's almost as if a camera was planted on top of the ceiling when the subjects of the film sit down and start having a conversation, and they are seemingly unaware of the camera. How did you manage to do that?
If we're talking about the final scene at Nidra's living room,
Hmm.
a complete luck. This was a stroke of luck. It was filmed on the first day that those women, including myself, meet each other after 2 years of lockdown during COVID.
Hmm.
So I was terrified. I was like really terrified because in that living room, there were 3 cameras, a ton of light equipment, and 2 sound recorders. And I, like, seriously, my heart was in my feet. I was hiding in the control room with Koti, the producer. And I was really worried that they're going to just look at the camera and not say a word because it is shocking. The camera has its own presence.
Hmm.
Um, but the lucky thing was, it was the first time after 2 years. So they got busy with each other. They really forgot that the cameras were there. And I wasn't there on the floor. I really locked myself in the control room because I really did not want to take away from the dynamic that was happening.
There's such candor in the film that that's where the charm comes from. Not to mention the poetry and music that winds its way into the picture. Now, when you started off thinking of putting this story together, and now that you're going to step onto the stage tomorrow night to presumably participate in a Q&A in regard to the film, how did it turn out compared to how you envisioned it in a skeletal form?
Oh my. Well, first of all, this was planned like a conventional documentary. I'll take a
Okay.
camera crew, we'll go to those women in their houses, ask them questions, film them, and then film their gathering. But then, lo and behold, COVID. So we moved to very unconventional ways of filming this, which is recording the Zoom. But that also was a lucky break because here you are, you and I are talking on Zoom. And if you press recording, I don't really feel it. I don't feel that there is a camera in my face,
Oh,
right?
okay. Yeah.
So that helped in, the conversations just flowing. And then, well, we want to get, up close and personal with the women. So what do? I suggested that we give those women iPhones. We sent 8 iPhones to the women to film themselves. Yet another lucky break because now they're not the subject of a documentary, they're the participant, they're the narrators of their own stories. So 8 women my age get an iPhone and ask to film themselves. And I get the phone call. What do you mean film myself? Doing what? What do you want? Well, anything you want to tell us, anything you want to show us.
And out of
And
these, just out of these various incarnations of the iPhone coming back and being wiped, and the footage taken into a hard drive somewhere where it could be assessed later, did anything surprise you coming from these women? Being candid, I'm assuming maybe they were by themselves for a moment, and they were using an iPhone to say something that they probably wouldn't say to anybody else.
yes, the authenticity, the
Mm-hmm.
candor all came through. We're not really YouTubers or influencers, Instagram. We don't do social media well, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So for them to kind of take that on, that was good. That was really good.
And it all comes together. All of these loose strands come together, are tied together over food, which is a marvelous way to bond under any circumstances. And it is
Yes.
like a Babette's feast with very candid conversation that happens. And so, tomorrow night, what kind of questions do you anticipate after people see the film?
I really think there'll be a lot more questions to the women than to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because, that's my job. That's what I do. I direct, I write, I produce.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's very fascinating the timing of it, that it is going to premiere at Metro Cinema coming up Thursday, just in light of what's happening in the news. So it should provoke a lot of very interesting questions, I think.
Yes, I really hope so. That's the raison d'être. I like to build those bridges. I want to build those bridges between the different parts of the Canadian mosaic. So as part of this Canadian mosaic, as the Arab community, I'd like to build those bridges with our wider community, the mainstream Canadian community, get them to know us for what we are and who we are, get this understanding and common ground so we can start conversations. And fully knowing that those conversations might at times be really uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There's trust and there's understanding. You
Yeah.
can get comfortable with the uncomfortable conversation. And that's my hope.
Fantastic. So, Nisreen, I'm going to give the last word to you in the course of this interview because, like you say, during the Q&A, the focus may be on the subjects, and they'll end up like many people who appear in front of the camera. They'll end up getting a lot of the questions. But can I play a piece of music for you from the CKUA library?
Yes.
Well, do you have an artist in particular that you like that I can play?
Well, yeah, Pink Floyd. Those are my favorite
Oh,
choice.
that is absolutely stupendous. Thank you, Nazreen, for taking the time to chat with us.
Thank you.